30 or 40 years ago, fans of science fiction used to watch films about the future and dream of the kind of life we would all be living by the year 2000. Holidays to the moon, colonies in space, robots in the home. And weren't jetpacks going to be one of the most thrilling parts of our future? After eating a protein pill for breakfast, we would then strap on our personal rocket packs and fly ourselves to our high-tech offices in no time. But we're now several years into the 21st century, and so far only 17 people have flown a jetpack. Apart from the occasional appearance as a novelty at sporting events or motor shows, it appears that jetpacks are permanently grounded. The idea of the jetpack originated way back in the 1920s in a science fiction comic called Buck Rogers, which later became a popular radio show and then a TV program. The concept became a reality when Wendell Moore, an engineer at Bell Aerospace in the USA, developed the rocket belt, which had its first successful flight in 1961. Perhaps flight is the wrong word. Even though the rocket belt could accelerate faster than a Formula One car, it only had a maximum time in the air of 30 seconds. With such a limited range, the US military lost interest, and NASA, who had thought about using them on their moon missions, did not invest money in the project. Jetpacks have failed to get off the ground ever since. However, a dedicated group of amateur engineers has continued to build and attempt to fly their own homemade jetpacks. The designs haven't altered much since the first Bell rocket belt. In fact, they're not really powered by rockets at all. They're powered by steam, which is produced by a chemical reaction. Flying a jetpack requires a certain amount of courage. The steam is forced out of the jetpack at about 750 degrees centigrade. And they're not easy to fly. Bill Suter, one of Bell Aerospace's original test pilots and the man who flew into the opening ceremony of the 1984 Olympic Games, described the experience of flying with a rocket belt as like trying to stand on a beach ball in a swimming pool. Like most things, then, the fantasy is better than the reality. But there still may be a future for jetpacks, and it may lie with more conventional jet engines. Trek Aerospace, a company based in California, has built the Springtail EFV, which is powered by a small engine. It is much larger than a jetpack, and the pilot is strapped into it in a similar way to a hang glider. If the design takes off, the Springtail EFV could have a wide range of different uses, from emergency rescue operations to extreme sports. Trek Aerospace believe that they've solved the previous problems with personal flying machines. The Springtail EFV might weigh almost twice as much as a jetpack and stand nearly 3 meters tall, but on one tank of fuel it can cruise at about 160 kilometers per hour with a range of 300 kilometers. Many experts believe that personal flying machines like the Springtail EFV will arrive within the next decade, especially as they have obvious commercial potential as a substitute for helicopters. What may become a more common sight in our skies is a new generation of unmanned personal vehicles. Even Trek Aerospace believe that their unmanned air vehicle has greater potential, mainly for surveillance and military use. But for fans of science fiction who have waited decades for jetpacks to arrive, the wait could be nearly over. It may seem like it's just a bunch of guys playing around with flying machines at the moment, but that is exactly how the efforts to reach the moon started out. Personal flying machines, be they jetpacks or other vehicles, will definitely happen. But don't hold your breath.